Fisherman's an asshole.
I think that's unanimous.
Yeah.
I have a thing against fishermen. I'm
guy's
totally...
not an
When I used to... for people
Explain this.
All of them.
Your thing against fishermen. All of them.
Yeah, fucking fishermen. So I grew up...
Tied up in their hooks while surfing or something.
I grew up off 14th Street in Ocean City. And at the end of 14th Street, there's a fishing pier. Something about piers in the water causes the sand to like build up. And that makes the waves break off the pier particularly nicely. Like it's just better. And also, as a surfer, like you get to know the beach and where the waves break. And the fishing pier just like it really lets you know how far out you are. You can like visually get back to the same spot that just worked for you in a way that's more difficult if it's just like a straight beach without references. So surfers fish next to the pier. That's a thing. The fishermen hate it. They're always like yelling at the surfers, like picking on the surfers. They would cast their lines at us and try and hit us. And sometimes successfully hit us. I had a friend who used to surf with wire cutters, just little pliers, and cut their lines and shit. And they didn't even have to hit him. Like if they're casting at him, he'd go over to it, cut the line. Fuck you. You know, like those things have sinkers on them. Like that would hurt. And
hooks.
Yeah.
What if he hooks you out there?
Sharp part.
Right? Like it's a problem.
He could drown you out there if he hooks you right and you get tangled in that line.
And I didn't think of myself as like you know, a defenseless child at the time, but I was between like 12 and 18 when most of this happened. You know, they're casting at fucking like 13-year-olds. Like, fucker, out there surfing right here in my ocean. Fuck you. God, that's not a cool thing.
That's true.
You hate
That's
all
true.
fishermen? Didn't I recall you just giving a story a couple PKAs ago where you ran a jet ski so hard it ran out of gas and a nice old fisherman saved you and brought you back to shore?
That was a boater.
I recall the words
Who
fisherman
happened
being
to
thrown
have
around.
fish. You know?
I don't know if he was a fisherman or not. I may have called him that.
There was a pole in the boat. He was a fisherman.
I don't remember. It was eons ago. He may have been a fisherman, but
To be fair, a lot of surfers are assholes as well.
They're
very rude to the other. I feel like it was fishermen are asshole to the surfers. Surfers are assholes to everyone else on the beach. Everyone else. This is my wave, bro.
Dude,
Fuck you.
as I got older, I made it a point of like striking back and stuff. Like one thing we used to do a lot was jump off the fishing pier. So the fishing pier was an exclusive club. You know, you had to like pay rent or monthly dues or something to get on it. And there's barbed wire like coming off the fishing pier to like stop you from climbing it and getting on. But the barbed wire wasn't done well enough to keep me out. So I would routinely just fucking like get on the fishing pier, start running. And they knew I didn't belong, and they'd be like, get him, get him, get him. And I'll just book it down the fishing pier. Like your fuckers are 75 years old. You're not getting shit. And then when I got to the end of the pier, like I'm trapped, but I'm not trapped because this is when I jump off the pier and swim away. And I used to do that like as a hobby. Like I would do it just to like I don't know, friends I didn't see them. I like, want to see me jump off that fucking pier? And I would run.
Yeah, why? I wonder why the fishermen didn't like you.
You're right. It's a curious thing, but
I can understand why the fishermen didn't like the surfers if you were being all rambunctious, running around, stomping, sending vibrations into the water, scaring the fish, or whatever it is. And also, like from their perspective, because I've never been a huge fisherman, I've never surfed, but from their perspective, it's like we have this one area to fish out in the water. You have as far as the eye can see. You have the whole ocean. Go 600 yards down that way, and if that's not good enough, go another 500 yards. Go half a mile past that. You know what it is? It's still fucking ocean. Like you have all that space, and you're cutting our wires and fucking with us. Granted, it's mean to throw things at you and try and catch you like you're a piece of meat, but I can understand why they were aggravated. I feel like
this is like a lions and hyenas thing, right? Like it's just natural enemies, mortal enemies, whatever it's called. And like as in my personal journey on this thing, I started as just an innocent child who got cast at and picked on until eventually I evolved into an older child who could strike back to some extent. But to them, I was probably just like a future punk, which I guess wasn't too far
Well,
off.
I mean,
it's a current punk.
it shouldn't happen as you ran on the pier.
But
was secure.
it's like a terrorist, man. Like you kill someone, now that child's father has been murdered and he becomes a terrorist, right? So in my head, like their actions formed me. Like they created the terrorist I became.
That's true. That's a good way to
But
rationalize
there's such a
poor
simple
decisions.
solution to this, though. And
Wait,
it's
what?
like
I'm
what
sorry.
It's such a simple solution, though. Taylor was thinking exactly what I was thinking. Like, you have a little tiny dock here, that or getting a fucking boat if you're a fisherman. And the surfers have the entire beachfront to go wherever they want.
Yeah, and if it really is a matter
And
of
if you
like,
needed
oh,
to keep an eye distance, I'm this far out, you can still see the fishing dock.
Well, I have
here
two
where you
counters for
go
that.
from.
One,
Okay.
I lived there. Like that was in my head, like my beach. This is my local beach. When I exit like my door, walk 2 blocks, this is my beach.
I'm
For
sure
you to
they do,
say
too.
no, they don't. They come from all over. They've got one fucking spot. Like to me, you live miles from here. This
Okay.
is my beach.
They're
Like,
literally paying money to access the dock, though. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
if they
which
live there
make
or
like
not.
fucking
The
bring
money
it-
that you use for all your elaborate elective classes over there at school.
In my
Yeah.
head, it was like, oh, exclusive club. Do you have any Grey Poupon? You fucking 75-year-old bitch. So,
Jesus.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of hate in there. So,
I couldn't tell.
and the other thing, like I was saying earlier, this beach with the pier on it was a better surfing place than like not all beaches are created equal. Like a lot of beaches you just would never surf on. They suck. But because of the pier, the waves would break in a better way. So
you shouldn't surf on any beach. There are sharks in there, and it's
That's-
irresponsible.
but
No, but I can understand both sides there, except for the "it's my beach." Like that's kind of silly. Like when you said they come from all
That's
over.
like when people
I
come out
thought
of
you meant,
town
like,
and surf,
No,
too.
well,
That's
yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
things when people come from out of town to surf at your beach, and there's a rivalry now. The hometown surfers versus the out-of-town surfers. That shit happens all the time, and it's absurd.
it is super common, and
It's like a giant pissing
I see
match.
all
No,
sides
not
of it.
this.
But the it's my beach stemmed from like, hey, you could go anywhere, and it's like, well, I should be able to surf in my backyard. Like, you can't take it from me. This is like everyone has like like a home court, and this was mine.
That's true, but it sounds like they were trying to share it with you.
By
Aside from the
casting
whole-
at me, that's
Oh,
how my
yeah.
relationship with them started. I'm just out there surfing, like not knowing anything, and they're going at me. And there were signs that said "Stay this far away," and I would.
They
At first,
casted the first cast.
They did. They'd cast, even though I'm like, I'd point to them like, there was that big piling in the sand that showed you like marked how far away you're supposed to be. It's like I'm past the piling, and they're still casting at me. And then, at which point, like, if you don't respect the piling, neither do I. Until it got to the point where I'd shoot the pier, I'd surf right through it. Fuck them.
I think both parties are at fault. I'm gonna give extra asshole points to the fisherman though, because I don't care how old you are, you could poke somebody's fucking eye out with a goddamn lure.
Also,
That's true,
Anybody
and
ever-
you work for Woody, so that's a safe side to take.
Oh, I was arguing
No, he
hard
wouldn't
against
do
it.
that.
I think both parties are wrong.
But the other side of it is, like, the surfers are usually kids. Like, I feel like this is adults picking on children.
That is
Nothing
true.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Character.
if
It's
it
hard
was
to pick on
free,
other adults.
they're paying, so like be an asshole you want.
I want Kyle's perspective on this. Who is, you can.
I think they're all assholes because they're like enjoying themselves at a beach, and that's like